Oh my goodness.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the December 30th, 2021 meeting of the Design Review Committee. My name is Amy Paretsky, the chair of the Design Review Committee. This open meeting of the Design Review Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of June 16th, 2021, an act relative to the extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the Design Review Committee are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the Design Review Committee to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to the Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. The Design Review Committee works to preserve historic land use and structures and to promote architectural and ecological considerations for the betterment of the community. We are an advisory board, and as such, the design review process is intended to provide guidance to the applicant in the development of the site and design of the building. The Design Review Committee does not guarantee approval of any special permits needed and those can only be granted by the special permit granting authority. I will now confirm member access to this meeting. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dario DeMar.
Here.
Lisa Maselli.
Here.
Dave Varon. Dave.
You muted. Oh, there you go.
Okay. And Diana Nicholas.
Here.
And myself, Amy Paretsky. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Kathy Dubert.
Here.
Bob Federico.
Here.
Meeting business ground rules. The chair will invite each speaker or applicant on the agenda by name to make a presentation and speak to their application. Participants will provide their full name and hold until their name is called. Each speaker will be asked to mute their phone or computer when not speaking and to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. Those responding will be asked to wait until the floor is yielded to them by the chair. Speakers who wish to respond to comments of others do so through the chair, taking care to identify themselves. Each vote taken by the board or committee will be conducted by a roll call vote. It is now 8:39, and the first on our agenda is 87 Hudson Street. We will be bringing in Tom Reardon, Randy Waterman, and Matt Piscini, the applicants. I can also share the screen. I'll share the latest drawing. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Tom did the presentation last time. So Tom, would you like to speak to the changes that have been made to the design since the last meeting? You or Randy?
Hello, good morning. This is Randy Waterman. I can do that if you would like.
Sure.
I don't know if Tom's on yet or not, but essentially from the site's perspective, there were 3 changes that we had discussed, and we've made all of those on this drawing. The first one is out at the central island at Hudson Street. On the back side of the island, one of your members had asked if we could change the spec for the 6 rhododendron to holly, since we have some holly up at the building itself. And our landscape architect looked at that and agrees that would be a fine change. Those would work well there and would not have the issue with any salt on the street. So the 6 rhododendrons at the street at the back of the island have been changed to match the 6 hollies that are up at the house. The second change was over on the right-hand driveway where it comes in off of the street. We had talked about why we bent it that way, just to flatten it out a little bit so it wasn't too steep. And in doing that, the lights point at the abutting house, which happens to be owned by the same applicant. But right on the corner where the lights would shine towards that house, we've added, excuse me, we've added 3 U's at that location. We have some other U's that are shown on the front of the plan. And that's a dense formous version that will grow thick and make a hedge right there. And those are proposed right at the spot where as you turn and you're right on that edge of the driveway, the lights would be blocked by those U's on the corner of the driveway. And then the third change that was discussed, one of the members had asked about potentially adding sidewalks from the 2 sets of stairs that come down onto the front lawn. And Tom and I talked about that a little bit, and we decided we've added 2 sidewalks, but we've actually moved them over so they're right at the front of the garages instead of having them out in the front, just because we don't think many people would come from the driveways and want to walk all the way around the porch and out front on the deck and then up the front stairs. More, people tend to take the shortest route. So we have 2 sidewalks that start at the corner of the driveways, at the corner of the garage, and just wrap around right in front of the shrubs that we have there. Those are the other hollies that I was talking about. And so you would come right across that location and then step up onto the deck. And then you'd have this essentially the shortest route from the garage to the front door. And Tom asked that we leave the front stairs on there with landings, just as an aesthetic really from the street. So as you pass by, everybody looks at it and sees the front steps and, access directly to the front door. But in reality, this way, when people park outside the garage at the face of the garage, they'd have the shortest route up onto the deck and it'd be sort of a little bit more hidden. So that's what we did with the 2 sidewalks. And then I believe Tom, I'm not sure if he's there yet or not, but I know he was planning on submitting, I think, the color palette. And I don't know too much more than I think he had selected the sort of the black and white version, was submitting that, but I'm not positive.
I think we got an email that listed he was going to do a gray palette with white trim.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is that it?
Yes, that's all we had on the.
Okay, thanks. I'll call in some members to see if they have any additional comments or questions. I'm going to start with Dario because you had brought up the sidewalks and the driveway.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening and making the changes. That's a big deal. I understand the aesthetics of the porch in the front. It's a little bit of what I call cartoon architecture, where you put a porch, no one's going to use it. But if you want it to look nice, even though it's not functional, the stairs, I'm okay with that. It's nice to have access to the porch and the drive. So I think that's a good solution. Also, planning to use helps for sure. I don't know all the sight lines and everything there. Some people back into the garages and pull out, and if they do that, the lights are hitting the house. Understand that you guys own it, but we can't and won't recommend based on current ownership, because ownership can always change. Mm-hmm. So I think that's okay. I don't know the pitches there, but I do understand that really steep is horrible, especially in the winter. So the 2 comments that I had were addressed, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Diana, do you have any comments?
I know Tom isn't here. I'm just kind of curious where we landed on, whether or not we're doing this entrance or this entrance. Does anyone know the answer to that?
In the email, he mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but In the email, he mentioned the one that had the metal roof.
Well, I was just meaning the way that you enter the house in plan. This one has like a vestibule on it, so architecturally it steps out, and this one is just flush.
I think he
It's
said,
not about the roof design at all.
I think he said option A in the email. I can go back and look it up, and I don't know which one was option A, but
That's a separate
oh,
That's a separate issue, yeah. But either, I mean, I'm fine with both. I think that, I think the one on the right is a little bit more in line with this whole proportionate scheme, but it's really an owner choice. I was just curious. So, yeah.
yeah, I don't know the answer.
Hey, Tom, we're on the design review and they're asking questions about your color palette.
I was just going to say, I think Randy's
8:30.
calling Tom, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, can you jump on? All right. Yeah, just talk to Tom. He's going to jump on right now.
Okay. Amy, maybe while we're waiting for Tom to come on, if there's any other, questions about the landscape or the, driveway locations, or, I mean, again, I think it's all been addressed, but
Sure, Dave, do you have any? I know you didn't have any questions last time, so, but I'll check to see if you have any this time.
Nope, I think it's all good. I think the solution to the driveway, the walkway is fine. I think it was all good.
Okay, sounds great. How about Lisa?
I do appreciate the fact that you did change those roadies out from the front. I think that's a good idea, especially with the way they're so delicate. So I did actually have some time to look over the plans from the last week, and there are a couple questions that I do have. The first thing I guess I want to address is the walks, and I like the idea that you have walks coming from the driveway to the side door, but I think you should still have a walk from the front coming down toward a lower part of the street in the driveway, because we have UPS drivers and Amazon drivers and trucks always now coming in to deliver your goods, far more than ever before, and the retail is kind of going out the window. So are you asking the UPS driver to come up the driveway to be able to go into the door or on the porch to leave the packages? Many of those trucks are getting even bigger. I mean, I live on a main street and I see pretty much what they have for a fleet, and they are growing in size.
Yeah.
So if in the rain and the snow and that sort of thing, or people that are coming to your home aren't necessarily going to come all the way up your driveway to your garage door. And I think that it's not unreasonable to have walks that are coming from egresses. So I know at my house, I have 3. I have one at the front door, the main entrance. I have one on the side where you come in by the driveway. And then I have one in the back on the back deck. So, I mean, I think that adding a second set of walks is not unheard of or a hardship. I mean, these are going to be high-end complexes, and I think it would be a great look, and also help anybody else who's coming to the house that doesn't live there or isn't an invited guest. So, and I'd also like to know what the material is that's going to be used for these walks, because we want to have more pervious cover on the ground with so much paving going on and trees being cut and such. So that's the first.
Can I just reply to those first?
Sure.
So again, the UPS trucks ordinarily won't park out there on Hudson Street, so they would pull off the street and come up the driveways. Whether they would go all the way to the end or not, some drivers prefer to sort of stay closer to the street so they don't have to do a big turn. So if somebody pulls the truck off the street and they're out of the street, they would have, probably a 20-foot, 25-foot walk up the driveway to where the sidewalk is now. So adding a second one just for that occasion, you know, we typically would not do that. It's less lawn, it's less landscaping, it's, you know, more maintenance, but, so we typically wouldn't have two of them on a single family unit like that, but I guess it's the board's call if they decide they wanted to do it. You know, we'd prefer to have the green space and the lawn versus a sidewalk. But the sidewalks that are proposed, we thought we would use a crushed stone service, compacted crushed stone, pea stone, something like that. We did not want to put pavement there.
Good. Well, I would think you could put even, you know, what do they call them? Step stones or something, at least something to give a finished look to those front pieces instead of just leaving them as a, you know, this is the front door, but you can't come in the front door easily. So you don't have to cover the whole ground area, but you could have pavers or something, steps.
Yeah, if the group thought that was logical, I guess if you were gonna do it, I suppose what I would suggest is leave the walks the way we have them. If we go to, like, for instance, the left-hand walkway that bends, and we move that tree over in the corner a little bit. So if you had that sidewalk and maybe right where it starts to bend and turn towards the house, maybe right on that corner of the bend, you could have some like patio stones randomly kind of step down there and come out on the driveway right where you can see that dash line for the front yard setback. And then at least you've got mostly lawn and you've got another path for somebody to come up and go and leave packages on the porch. But
Right, right. Or, you know, if they're trick-or-treaters or people that are coming to the home is not as an invited guest.
yeah.
Your tax assessor.
Randy, how about stepping stones like bluestone or slate?
Yeah, that's what we're saying, is that if
Okay.
you just had some sort of random pattern coming from the walk, and that would make it so that if you pull into the driveway, you'd basically step out onto that, could go to the walkway and go right onto the deck. It's not something we ordinarily would do, but if you thought it was necessary, we could do that.
Okay, well, I think it's a good idea. Just again, everybody that has an egress has to step out. When you're stepping out onto the grass in the winter in the rain or whatever, it's very messy. And these are beautiful. I mean, I think that just enhances the building itself. So, all right, so that's my step zone question.
Lisa, could I just ask you one thing for clarification? That, I mean, obviously my pointer is not working, but, so are we talking about from the front of the house?
Yep.
To,
To the-
okay,
Lower drive. It doesn't have, I mean, it doesn't have to come way into it. Like if you're in the house on where the green line is, you know, it just comes down a little bit, makes a little curve. Where I'm looking, it's kind of hard to see on the screen. So the driveway on the left, right on the lot line, and then comes into the house. Is that correct?
Yeah, we could see the green line, Kathy, that.
Yeah,
shows
I
up.
did that green line. I don't know
Oh, you
how
did?
it happened.
Yeah.
okay, so that's-
Anyone can draw. You have tools in Zoom. So I'm just go to the top and there are tools.
Oh,
there.
okay. So someone else drew that. I'm like, I don't.
Anyone can do it. Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify whether the new stepping stones or whatever material you're going to talk about is coming off of those front steps and then connecting to the proposed sidewalk that's on there?
No.
Or,
No, it would either go to the driveway or to the street, I would think, if you're going to do that. And that's why we put the ones up on near the house. We didn't think it made sense to come off the front, but I guess if you think that is a good addition, then yeah, something like that could be done. Maybe even just a little lower, closer to the road or something, but. in
Could
that
you not
same-
do it like here?
same
Sorry to interrupt
vicinity.
you.
I don't know I'm gonna have to learn how to draw. I agree. I think if you even come and you follow the contour of the front island, so you come down a little bit and then just curve to the right or curve to the left.
Yeah, I think that's a lot better. I've not ever seen a house with a front porch that just steps on the grass, just fundamental architecture. When you have a front door, front steps, main entry, and you walk on mud or grass. So I think something to address those steps really makes it just real architecture. I mean, and that goes back 500 years.
Hey, Tom, what's the space between the front step and like, what's the scale here? What's our space between that front step and that driveway out of pure curiosity? I can't,
The distance?
yeah,
Probably 50 feet.
okay.
Yeah, it's right about 50 feet.
I mean, clearly the one on the right's closer to its driveway than the left, but I think the left has a little bit of a difference anyway with that little pop out that Diana was talking about. Gives it its own personality. So I wish I could draw it for you. I don't know how to get my thing to do that, so I apologize. Okay, so we're all,
Lisa, if you just go to the top where it says view options, like if you go to the top of your screen, does view options show up?
oh, there you go.
And then on that arrow, you do annotate, and then you get like a separate menu so you can write and all kinds of stuff.
Yay, thank you. All right, so stamp arrow eraser format. Oh, here we go. So I'm thinking something like this. Whoop, that's my name. That's not working. It's under,
Select draw.
okay, hit draw.
And you can use the trash can when you want it to take it off.
It's a trash can. All right, so
That's fine. We can see that.
okay, I'll do it like, so whatever that, I don't know where this driveway comes here, is that correct? Is that how this driveway is coming in? Oh, you can't see my pointer.
No, you can't see the pointer, but I think one driveway comes in here and the other driveway is way over here.
Right.
So we'll go back to trash.
I can see the pink, well, they just went away.
Hold on. I'm trying to learn how this all works.
Yeah, I can see that pink line now.
Unfortunately, this one isn't, because when I was looking at this whole thing, I was certainly looking at the right-hand side. But like, just kind of let it slide in, because you've got curves. You've got the curves of the driveway.
Mhm.
And this curves as the walk comes from the garage to the side door. So, I mean, again, it's a beautiful piece. It makes more sense to have some sort of a walk to those areas. So people feel have their privacy, plus, it helps a new visitor know where to come in.
I know for my house, my-
Sidewalks here. So I don't think bringing someone to Hudson Street makes any sense. There's
My
no
house too
pedestrian-
had a front door with a long driveway, so it did, like, my walkway would come out over here where the arrow is, like
Mhm.
how they have the stepping stones. So like if the UPS driver pulls in, he comes across.
Yeah, I think it's best if it touches the driveway, because you're gonna be cleaning the driveway and plowing it, and where that line stops now, that's just gonna be a snowbank from the street. So I
No.
think if they both just end up touching at the driveways, we can make that adjustment, just
Yeah,
have
so
them come out right on the driveways. Yeah, yep.
not, it's kind of hard with my mouse and my finger. All right. So, all right, how's that? That's a little better. But
Yeah,
that,
and there's one existing tree right in the center of that left sidewalk, and we'll just bend it just below that. So we'd like to keep that tree. We'll wrap right around that and then have it go over and touch the driveway.
absolutely.
Yep.
Tree hugger. Okay, so that's my walk remark. The next one was on the north side, this area right here. For the lighting issue. How big are the U's going to be? These 3 U's that are here?
On the side of the driveway, those are spec'd out on the plan to be 2 to 2.5 feet tall at install.
Oh, at install, how tall will they? You know?
It's a very trimmable hedge, as you know, for use, but most people leave them 4 feet to 6 feet high and, shape them as needed.
Is there a way that you could also put a small not picket fence, but a small fence in that area that I've just drawn the red, so that you have more privacy for both property owners. You're using the driveway, you're right into the land. That other house is so close to the property line that it would just make it a lot easier. And then, you know, in the wintertime, you know, you'd have a little bit more security there. I mean, I don't know how long is that piece that I've drawn? Is that like 4 feet, 5 feet?
Oh, no, it's longer. Let's see, that's from the shrubs. That's about 25 feet.
All right, well, that's not bad fence talk. But you know, something that would either be the white fences that have. Sorry. Yeah, yes. I'm having a
And
senior.
are you thinking something that's at least 4 or 6 feet or something, or?
6 feet. I would say
What's that? How tall?
6.
6 feet?
My only question to that is, where is the snow gonna go?
Right, exactly.
I mean, you're walling in something that you're making a very large mistake.
I don't agree with that. I think your snow right now is 3 months out of the year, and it's not every day of the week. So most people in this area probably use a snow blower. I don't think you're going to get a truck to go up and down that area. So you have to consider the fact you're going to throw your snow on the other person's land. They can't.
That's what I was thinking. If you push the snow there, you're pushing it into the other guy's yard, right up against his house. I agree with the fence for the lighting, because the houses are so close.
I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. I only plow a truck and do it all the time, but okay.
All right, so that's the second thing I have. The third was, we talked about the material already. With the metal roof that's going to be on the front porches, they're going to be the same color as the roof on the regular house, correct?
Well, we would try to be in the same tonal range. Standing seam metal doesn't often come with identical colors of the blended asphalt shingles, but they'll probably be dark gray.
All right, because I did notice there's a house on that street already that has that metal roof on the front porch, and it kind of mirrors what you've done here. It's a small beige house, and it has the metal roof on the porch, and it has, I think, the architectural shingles on the roof. And they don't match, and boy, they don't really look that good. So the matching, or as much as you can, is, I think, again, a benefit to the structure.
Well, we'd like to get them as close as possible to the same tone, but we don't want to get into custom colors.
Okay. Okay, that's for the. All right. So the next is the lights. Now you've got a walk that's coming from the driveway to the side of the porch. Did you happen to put a small light on the side of the house so that you could actually have some visual as you come around the corner coming up to the porch? Because I don't think the ones that are recessed are going to shed enough light when you're coming around that bend.
You've got 2 recessed lights on that end section of the porch. And then as you come around just where you hit the driveway, there's a floodlight right in the center of the driveway that's shown at the center of the garage.
Here, that's the flood.
Yeah.
And this is the,
And then you've got the flood there, and then there's you've got one of them circled, and right below it there's another one of the 2
here,
in the ceiling there that are the canister lights.
right?
Yeah.
But you don't think you should have something here just to give some?
I wouldn't typically, just as you're driving by the street and you're looking up and there's that many more lights on the house. It's a short walk, and between the 2 lights, I think you'll be perfectly fine.
Okay.
I think that's good, Randy.
Then I have almost done. See, if I could have done this last week, but I really didn't have the time. I didn't have the time to really check it all out. So I apologize for doing all these questions now. All right, is there a way, and this again is because I'm the designer that just can't, I just love to make it tough. Could we put another shrub here just to give this some balance? You've got 2, 2, and 2 instead of 2, 3, and 2, because the pieces in between are all balanced. It's all the same amount of shrubberies and things.
Well, that's where the 2 water lines run from across the street straight under that area. So we already put one between them in the front to
Okay.
screen. Yeah, I mean, we don't,
Okay.
the only place you'd see it is from inside the house.
Okay. All right. And then the last question I have is just the structure. Is it in keeping with the neighborhood? Is it, I mean, there are the other houses around it going to be dwarfed by this because it's a pretty big project. And I took a couple of pictures off of Google Maps to see what was in the neighborhood.
You do have at 56 Hudson Street, you have an industrial building, which is 60 to 70,000 square feet. So that's the biggest structure in the area. 2 doors down, there's a multifamily that's 6,000, 7,000 square feet. But then you also have existing non-conforming sites and houses, which are at the very low end of the scale. So we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's what is that row of little houses? Was a low income housing next to that, or 2 houses?
Down by 56, right across the street. Yeah.
Yes, you've got those little ones, and then that beige one that we just talked about with the front porch, isn't that next to it too?
I don't know that one.
Well, I'm going to learn to share my screen better the next time. All right, well, that's it. Thank you very much for going through it.
Okay. Did anybody else have any questions? Any comments? All right, I think the all good questions that have been made. I think the walkway to the driveway to the front house is a good idea. The colors, we've gone through the plantings. The windows in the email, he said he was going to keep the same. So that's all it comes down to. And I guess I'd like to hear comments about the fence. I think it's a good idea with the lighting. Dave doesn't think it's a good idea because of plowing. What do you think? Either Dario or Diana?
I like screening it as much as possible. I guess the plowing, the only way to solve that is to go a little deeper into the hill behind it, because then you can, if there was a plow, just push it straight back. That's the only way I would try to resolve that, is give yourself a little more snow at the end of the drive. And of course, that's digging into the hill a little bit more, but I don't know. I've lived with tight quarters like that, and there's kind of nothing nice about it.
Okay. I agree.
I don't,
If I could suggest maybe one option or edit to that idea, the fence looks that the edge of the driveway right there is about 3 feet off the property line. So if we just slide the fence over to the property line, then it would still screen the lights, and then you'd have a little more room that you could stack a little bit of snow as you drive up there. If the plow's driving up the hill, you could push a little snow. So you'd have 3 feet over there to work with. So that
I think that's perfect. I think that's.
You get the screening and you have a little bit of room for snow.
I do have another suggestion for you.
Yep.
If you want to put some shrubbery in there, continue that, evergreen screen up rather than a fence, that has a little more give. So if you're going to put snow into it, it gives a little. That may be another option for you, rather than a fence, which will break, snap.
Yeah,
I think you're better off with a fence myself. And you can put some shrubbery in front of it because you're going to have that 3 feet.
it still seems odd to me that we are prescribing what an owner should have on his property on both sides. I mean, if he owns both sides, then it seems like it's really if he has a concern about it, he has the ability to address it himself. And if somebody else moves in, they also have the ability to address it on their side. So I don't feel that we don't require this of single family homes.
This isn't single, this is a duplex.
I recognize that, but I'm just talking about the sort of agency that a homeowner has.
Mhm.
And Diane, the only problem with that is if you don't put anything in now and the property next door sells, they can't make these guys do anything because it's already sold. So whatever would have to happen with the new person because of that situation. And you just, who owns it now, to me, doesn't matter long-term. Because it could be sold. It could be sold tomorrow.
Well, the owner of 91 Hudson could put a fence up if they found that they needed that additional level of privacy. I mean, it's up to both homeowners that border the property line.
Agreed, but it's just more hardship on them. But either way, that's it just seems like good design not to be, assaulting your neighbor with lights, especially when you're coming home at night and going up a hill, which means the lights will be shining higher on the house because you're going up an incline, so the lights will hit likely the second floor where usually the bedrooms are.
I agree. I'd like to see the fence. I don't think it's right to put it on the owner that's next door. This is a brand new duplex that's going to be selling for $700,000 on each side. I think a 20-foot, 25-foot fence isn't too much to ask.
Yeah, why don't we do the fence and put it at the lot line, and then you have a little room for snowplow, and you've got the the barrier to light. If we can do that, and
I think that's good, Randy.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think 6 feet too.
Madam Chair, based on the agenda, I do have to leave at 9:15.
Sure.
My
that's
apologies.
fine. I just want to add before you leave fast that our next meeting will be January 13th, but I can send out an email.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. So what we need going forward is the site plan to be updated with the fence, the pavers, and everything else is fine. Actually, I have one quick question about the swale in the back. And maybe it's more of a question from the engineer when he looks at the site plan. Is the swale looks like it comes down to the driveway? Is the water going to be flowing from the backyard down the driveway into the street and also making the driveway icy in the winter?
no, the way the grading is set up, just because we're cutting into the slope behind the house, we want to make sure that at the back of the house, we're pitching away from the house towards the rear. So ordinarily what we would do is just have it won't even be graded as a swale like with any depth, just the house will pitch from the house out to that line that's called swale, and then it would pitch slightly from the end of the grading to that, and it's directed in both cases to come down to the edge of the driveway, and then the driveways are graded so that it would run back towards the inside of both driveways, and then on both driveways, we have a low pocket on the side of the driveway. So on the left driveway, it's on the inside, that low pocket, so that would pick up the drainage in the front yard so it doesn't go out in the street. And on the right-hand driveway, it would come down and go straight across, and there's another low pocket we have there. So we tried to pick both of them up because we know the town doesn't want us just discharging all our runoff to the street.
Right, or into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah. So we've kind of collected on both of these, and there's natural
Right
low
there.
spots at both of those locations.
Okay, so you're talking right here
Yep,
and
Yep.
right over here?
correct.
Okay. What is the material that is going to be back here? Is this going to be mulch, rock, grass?
Yeah, it's called out on the plan to be, let's see what we had ground cover. I just see that specific reference. Yeah, so that's ground cover on all of the slope because we didn't want to make it 3-to-1 and have it go that much deeper into the woods and clear more trees. So we went to 2.5-to-1, and then we'd use ground cover on the whole thing. And then we have quite a few shrubs on the back of that. Chalkberry, viburnum. There's like 50 or 55, no, 65 plants back there on the slope.
what do you mean by ground cover? Like,
Just like you see like vinca, the small little, it almost looks like if you have English ivy or something. So
okay,
something like, instead of doing mulch, which is gonna wash away over
Yeah.
time, you're replacing all the time. We'd rather put down, fabric and then put a ground cover on it so it's green all the time and it's not something that washes away, and that will hold the slope better.
okay. Could you add that as a note on the side? I noticed on the side of the drawing, it notes about like the size of the caliper and stuff. Can you note what the ground cover is? Because I know
Sure.
there've been some designs lately where the ground cover is just a mass of rocks.
Oh, okay, no, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, riprap or something, yeah, just.
yeah.
Yep,
So if you can have a note on the side
okay,
of what your ground cover will consist of.
yep.
Okay, that'd be great.
Amy, can I just ask, as far
Sure.
as process, is the design review committee, all set with the applicant, knowing that the applicant will make these changes and that they'll be on the site plan that they then move forward with to the permit granting authority board? Or do you want them to come back to show you that they've made those changes?
We would ask that you would consider if you could vote on this, subject to receiving this, then at least we can keep moving and not take up more of your time at your next meeting, but obviously it's your call, but if you're comfortable with that. But these are fairly minor changes. You've drawn them on here. We will, look at them and make sure we, like I say, avoid trees that are there and put the walks in and the fence and make those specs, but.
That would be my suggestion also, Amy, as far as how the design review committee has done it in the past, that when they've gotten down to the, that there's just a couple of changes left to be made, they would include, the design review committee would include that in their, memo to the permit granting authority board saying, we met on such and such a dates, and we, recommend approval of the project, based on, and then you could list, the erection of the fence, the stone pavers, that those are reflected on the final site plan.
When are they coming in front of the planning board?
They haven't
Yeah.
filed yet.
Oh, okay. So either way, I mean, because they could come before us one more time before we meet again. They won't get on the January 4th agenda. I'm okay with the memo because, I'm on the planning board, so I'll be able to review it. And I just don't know how the other board members feel about that.
We'll have the plan completed and back to you by late next week, if that makes any difference, but.
I'll speak up on that. I think they've addressed all the issues. I think Randy did a good job with the water coming off the back too, in managing that, not letting it go to the road. We had 4 requests, and if we vote to approve it, contingent upon those being met, which would be, the walks from the front porch, the 6-foot fence. We added, did we add a bush or change or no? No, we did.
No,
And then just label the ground cover, what it is, not to be rocks or mulch, then I don't think we really need to meet again because we've gone through all that.
I agree. There's no need to come back. They've done everything. I think it's good.
Okay. As chair, there's a way I want to word the memo with the way the memos, they've changed over the years. But an idea I had for the memo was the Northborough Design Review Committee met with the applicant on December 16th and December 30th. The Design Review Committee has, if we have no additional concerns with the design of the building, but then we would add, like Kathy said, we asked that a 6-foot fence will be added from the U's up to the back ground cover on the, I don't know what side of it's on the right side. I don't know if that's southeast, west.
that's the northwest.
On the
So-
northwest side. We also asked that the pavers come from the front porch to the side of the driveway. And also, were there any others?
Ground cover.
Oh, the ground cover be listed on the engineer drawing as a comment. And we should list that, what type of fence it is. Is it a white vinyl fence? It would match that seems to match the trim and,
Yeah, we'll check that with Tom and spec something on the plan.
okay, if that could be part of the memo, Kathy, or,
Well, what I would suggest, Amy, is that, given that today's my last day,
yep,
if you wanted to draft that and
Sure.
send that memo to Michelle, and my admin assistant, and what she can do is, put it on letterhead, send it back out to the design review committee. If anyone has any, slight edits to it, if it just wasn't, if she didn't just make it into full sentences correctly. And then she can get that to the, permit granting authority board when it's time.
sure. Is everybody fine with that?
We just do it by email?
Yeah.
Yes, we can approve a memo by email. We just can't approve, like, vote on the design.
Right, you just can't deliberate in an email, but if you, Michelle will send it all out to you. You will send any comments, and let's hope that there really aren't any, but you would send any comments individually back to Michelle. She would redraft it, send it back out if that was necessary.
I'd like to see them too, if they go back to Michelle, like any comments, come back to myself and Michelle, I'd just be curious. Too.
Yeah, I'll just, let's hope we can continue our track record, and there really, has never been any changes that have had to be made. Because we just take what, you all say at a meeting. So if you just want to vote on that, Amy.
Sure. And what the vote I'm taking is that we agree with the changes that we've made today and the design of the building and the landscaping and the fence. Like, we're not taking a vote on approval of the site plan because, Fred hasn't even reviewed that yet. Sometimes the memos in the past said the design review unanimously approves the site plan. And that's really up to the special permit granting authority after the town engineer looks at it too. It's not a
Well, right,
design
but I mean, you
review.
can, as an advisory board, you can recommend approval or don't recommend approval, or, because I mean, you're looking at the whole package, you're looking at the design of the building.
Yep.
And you're looking at the placement of the building. And then sort of, everything that goes along with that placement. And, you've talked about, landscaping and the walkways and so forth. So, I mean, you are recommending, I mean, it certainly sounds like, you are recommending, the approval of the site plan as proposed.
Not, so I don't want to take the vote that way because we're an advisory board and we don't vote on approval of a site plan. I would, as a design review advisory committee, I would make the motion that we reviewed the site plan and we do have some additional comments and concerns that will be noted in the memo that's going to go to the planning board. So you don't want to have two committees voting on the same thing. There's one special permit granting authority, whether it's the ZBA or the planning board, we're advisory. So
I think, Amy, it's semantics. I think we can recommend that they approve it because everything that we've seen, we're happy with. We're not approving it, but we recommend that they approve it.
I just don't want to recommend the site plan. I recommend we approve the building design and the landscaping for the property at 87 Hudson Street, but not the full site plan.
Because you don't have the engineers that.
Right, I haven't gotten the input back from staff. I asked at the last meeting if the town engineer has looked at it, and he doesn't do it until after design review. So
Right, but you have to understand that this has only been submitted to you as an advisory committee. This has
Right.
not been sent to any staff member. This has not been officially presented or applied for. So
Right.
there is no staff review as far as, you know, the town engineer or the DPW, you know, regarding the curb cuts or there's none of that, you know. So I mean, the special permit granting authority boards are expecting you know, recommendations from the advisory committees. I mean, that's
Right.
what you're set up to do.
But the
Amy,
way,
I think- Yeah, I think if you recommend approval, it's different than saying we approve it. You're just telling them we're okay with our end. I think the word recommend is a big deal because we're not saying we approve anything. We're saying we're happy with what we see. We recommend you guys go forward. We have no comments with respect to what's under our jurisdiction as the DRC. And we're happy with what they've shown us and with the changes we want to make. And I'm not sure, I don't know any of the legalities other than there has to be a very simple way to say, we're happy with what we've seen. Take it to the next step.
Right.
Because that's really what we're saying, and recommending is different than saying we approve. So we're saying we recommend you guys approve this because we have no comments, but every other jurisdiction will have their comments, which has nothing to do with us.
it just has to be worded carefully because it's nothing to do with this duplex. But if it goes to court, then if the memo from any advisory board says the design review committee recommended approval of the site plan, and then someone else recommends approval of the site plan, and for some reason it's denied, then the courts are like, well, why did design review approve it, yet the planning board deny it? Well,
We
design
didn't
review,
approve it.
You
Yeah,
have no
that's-
statutory standing.
We didn't approve it,
Advisory-
we recommended.
Yeah,
So even
advisory
though the-
committees have no statutory standing.
Yeah.
so, well, I mean, we're in the middle of two lawsuits right now. And so that's going to be thrown out by a judge that the design review recommending approval doesn't matter.
Well, those lawsuits have nothing to do with design review. They're appealing the planning board decision.
Right, but they pull in that the design review approved the site plan.
Through the,
Nope.
chair, I heard that. I heard the hearing and they absolutely did.
You heard what?
I heard that hearing where the attorneys were talking and they absolutely did use groundwater approved it and design review approved it. And the planning board did not. So they weren't listening to their own boards. That was the attorney for, it must have been Gutierrez.
Oh.
Definitely use,
That's
if it's not legal,
your interpretation and ultimately you are the board that's writing this memo. So however you want it worded. But if you can just resolve that so that we can move on.
Okay, well, I have it the way I was planning on wording the memo.
Well, someone needs to make a motion and it can't be the chair, so.
right, I make a motion to agree in the memo of the new changes that have gone today. So we can finish. I have no idea what I'm supposed to say. How about so moved, Amy?
I would make a motion that the design review committee met on December 16th and December 30th and has no additional concerns with the design of the building or the landscaping of the site, except for, you know, adding the fence and the paving over to the driveway
So moved.
And labeling the ground cover.
and labeling the ground cover.
You
That's,
also
I
need,
motion that, I will make that motion that what you just said.
you also need to add in, but before anyone votes here, that it's really not complete yet. You need to talk about the building design and you know, that you're
I think
good,
I-
you're not good, whatever with
I think
with
I
that.
started with the design of the building. I mean, I said I make a motion that the design review had no concerns with the design of the building or this landscaping on the site, except for adding the condition into the groundwater, adding the pavers from the front porch to the driveway. And there was a third one.
The
Oh, adding
fence,
a fence, 20, however long feet, 6-foot fence along the side of, I think he said northwest,
I think it's gonna be-
northeast side of the driveway
And the ground cover,
and the groundwater condition.
or the ground cover.
Uncover.
Sorry, ground cover condition.
Listed on the legend.
And I second that motion.
So who made the motion?
I made them, I so moved the motion.
Okay, roll call vote. Lisa Maselli,
Aye.
Dario Demar,
Aye.
Dave Varon,
I'm in favor.
and I agree also. Motion has been approved. I mean, made, second.
Did Diane have to leave?
Yeah,
Is Diana still on? No?
Yep.
All right, Amy, so you'll send us a draft. And then Michelle will put that on letterhead.
Yep. What did you say? Sorry, Kathy, I missed that.
No, I just said, so you'll just put that together in a draft and send
Sure.
that. to
Yep,
Michelle?
I'll
Yeah,
do that
okay.
today.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, that's all we had on our agenda.
All right. Thank you very much. And everybody have a
Happy New
happy
Year.
new year. And Kathy, enjoy your retirement.
Thank you very much.
All
Bon
right.
voyage.
Happy New Year to everybody. Thank
Our
you.
next, Happy New Year.
And
Happy New
Amy,
Year.
you have the next date as the 13th?
The 13th of January. Do we have any applicants?
No, not at this time.
Okay, I'd
No.
still like to meet so we can start talking about the duplex guidelines.
Yeah, and I'll have that issue or the outstanding question about what is left, for the budget, and then is the company that I need to have a conversation with Judy to see if we have additional money left, is she willing to come to another meeting and just wrap everything up.
Okay,
But I'll get back to you on that. She's on my list today.
okay. Thanks.
I have a
Okay.
question to go through the chair.
Sure.
What was the disposition of 097 and 99 Lincoln? Did they just remove the application?
They never filed, I think. They went to design review, just like this. And then they decided not to, file with the planning board.
Okay, because I saw new for sale signs back up on the property. So I didn't know. if
We
they-
never get, I always tell people, we're like sometimes the last to know, as to why someone changed their mind or why they withdrew an application. And, they don't have to provide us any reason. So I honestly don't know why the gentleman, because I mean, you came favorably, recommended, his duplex on Lincoln. So I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, it's always nice to have a little closure.
I know.
Exit interviews from applications not coming in.
Yeah.
But, all right, well, and listen, we'll see you around.
Yes. I can't disappear. But thank you all.
All right, have a
All right,
good
Happy
last
New Year,
day.
Take care,
everyone.
Kathy.
All right, Happy New Year's. I have to
Happy
make a
New
motion
Year.
to adjourn. I have to do a roll call vote, right?
Yes, we have to do roll calling. Yep.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
I said-
Second.
motion to adjourn is seconded. Roll call vote. Lisa Maselli,
Bye.
Dave Aaron,
Aye.
and Dario Demar.
Aye.
and I'm an aye. So